Hey, good morning, guys. Well, I did a little organizing and it's been a couple days since I did a video, so I wanted to show you what I've been busy doing besides working. Um, so the bench that I just finished is now in place, and all this is temporary. Nothing is permanent yet. Just for the moment, I I have my Dunlap drill in place, as well as the Delta and the Duracraft. So right now it's just kind of open, nothing in the drawer yet, and I got a box of grinding stones and wire wheels and whatnot underneath it. The welding table was over here. I went ahead and moved that. It opened up this whole area here, so now I can better access all my little parts trays. This wooden box came with my storage unit haul, and right now it's just loaded up with just materials and random pieces. It's stuffed, but anything that's clutter, a lot of electrical and plumbing parts, everything's just kind of stuffed in there for now. So this cobalt workbench I slid kind of across, kind of kitty corner. This thing is the cheapest, thinnest gauge metal ever. Now I got this secondhand. I got this used, and it wasn't much, but you know, in the process of sliding it across the garage floor, the back right kind of leg bent in, and when I was pushing or pulling on this, I was actually able to bend the sheet metal with my hands, easily. So this is just a piece of garbage. Just a prime example of the difference between older pieces, like this bench here, and then something newer. So anyways, piece of junk. I don't even like looking at this, but it's there for now. It's kind of a catch-all. Again, nothing is perfect yet. I just kind of have it the roughed out here, and I'm kind of holding off until I get everything more organized before I start any new projects. I intend to do this vise, and then the Atlas drill press that I'll show you in a sec. So I slid the Craftsman workbench down as well. Now this is a little bit better. It's a little bit thicker gauge metal. It's definitely better made than the Cobalt. This was used as well. I think I paid $80 for this a year or so ago, but it's been pretty decent. It's a 2-drawer. It's got a couple compartments, little trays that slide onto the back, and then there's a tray for the side. I removed them. This is the boneyard. These are pieces that have yet to be cleaned up. Nothing really too crazy, just kind of some stuff. Some wrenches. Nice good size Ken tool 4-way. These jammers. So anyways, yeah, so I slid this down. The bottom shelf kind of holds metal boxes that I plan on redoing. I really want to get to that 2-drawer park piece. It's kind of a nice box. It's older. And then I have 2 Craftsman Tombstone boxes. The smaller one is there. The bigger one is here. I've been removing the rust on that for quite a while, so that's pretty much ready to roll. I'll take that out, clean it up. So I have 2 Tombstone boxes. One is a little bit smaller than the other. I have trays for each. Anyway, so the main objective was to get the welding table here over to these windows, and I've done that, obviously. So everything on this table is temporary. The vise was already mounted. We have the anvil. 1, 2, 3, 4 other bench vices. What do we got? Trying to give you a brand. You got a couple reeds. Jeez, you know, one of my vices is buying vices. Yeah, just trying to give it. Okay, that's a reed. That's a Desmond Simplex there. This is a reed. This is Columbian. So then, of course, we have the table saw that I cleaned up there, and that's the motor that goes with it. This is just a belt. This belt goes to this drill press here. I just kind of have it on there for display at the moment, but I'll get a much smaller, shorter belt for this. So the motor does work good. There's the infamous pipe vise, rigid BC to 810. This will be my next project, the Atlas. So like I was mentioning in the other video, what I have to do is fabricate a little bracket to go here, and this will hold the toggle switch. I already have the toggle switch. That's how it came from the factory, toggle switch there. The original owner had mounted a big box right here, and you know, I'm gonna put it back to factory. It's pretty basic. I don't know why you know, it's almost easier to add a toggle switch and do it that way as opposed to this fancy box. So yeah, this is on deck. I'm gonna take it apart, clean it up. The base and the shelf are both rusty. The whole thing's old, but you know, it's got anti-seize everywhere on it, so it was pretty well maintained. The spring works good, you know, everything's functional on it. It's got the Jacobs chuck. Let me see if I can get a light in here. Now it's dark. Excuse the lighting. So the Atlas is next. I have the motor and some new wiring underneath for it. And you remember this piece here, that's just clamped down for the moment. And then this is in the works. I've done I tack welded some spots on the wheel, and they have to be cleaned up yet. This actually slides down over this, and then it's in there with set screws. So that'll be on there. I'm going to replace the chuck. I'm going to replace from here down, because there's a little bit of shimmy in this section here. Everything else is straight. Once again, here's the name badge for this piece, Hill, Clark and Company, and this is just really cool. I mean, I'm probably not going to ever use this, but I'm definitely going to clean it up and get it looking good. Let's look at how thick that plate is there, the 3047. Excuse the focus. This is crazy. Yeah, so it's pretty thick. Anyways, moving right along. We cleaned up and painted the bench grinder. I'm going to get 2 8-inch wheels for this. And that's driven by a vintage General Electric motor. So this table's pretty busy, and this again is all temporary. So I just wanted to get the welding table in place and get a couple pieces on it, and we've done that. So I've done a lot in the garage as far as cleanup. I got a long way to go, obviously. See, we got the welder, a Rockwell and a Craftsman miter saw, Craftsman table saw. This is just a little catch-all tray that I'm wheeling around. I got some of my vice grips on it. We got one of my Craftsman boxes there. That top chest It's just sitting there for the moment. I mean to clean that up and paint it black. And then the other three-piece Craftsman box, bottom cabinet, middle, and top. So the old John Deere. Basically, that's about it. I also threw together the other metal shelf. So these are metal shelves for one of those white work vans. They get bolted into the side of the van. And I'm going to keep them for the garage. They make great shelves. They definitely have a lot of space. You know, this one I have power tools on. This one I have supplies on. You know, tape and oil and grease and some cleaning stuff and a bunch of brushes. And then the bottom shelf is all my sanding stuff. That's a Harbor Freight sander. It was I think 14 bucks, and it's worked fine. It's held up. I've punished it. We got a bunch of sandpaper, the Harbor Freight, more sanding paper. Now I have other sanders. I have where is it? This Black & Decker belt sander. I have two of the Porter Cable locomotive belt sanders. I have a Dremel contour sander. And I have Craftsman, one of those little vibrating sanders with the triangle pads. So I got a bunch of hooks and chains kind of hanging out on the end of the shelf unit here. What I have to do still is this green cabinet from the Defense Corporation. That's going to get cleaned up and repainted. I have to get a place for that. What I'm probably going to do is slide the John Deere over a little bit and make use of that corner back there. So that's about it. We got the two metal shelves in place. Oh, let me show you that. I almost forgot the hammer. I built this little hammer rack out of 2x4, and it's pretty good. I bolted it right to that workbench frame. With existing holes. I just had to drill holes into the 2x4 there, and it's been good, you know. So it's, I think I keep saying I got about 50 more hammers in the house, probably more. My better hammers, anyways. I got some Blue Point and just my higher end hammers, but out here these are just beater hammers. Bunch of ball peens. Different sizes, probably every size. Regular claw hammers. And there's quite a few of them. And I mounted the sledges on the side of this little, this is a pressed wood cabinet, and it's a, it was in the basement, and I pulled it up a while back, and I was using it kind of with one of my bench grinders. Now it's kind of hurting. I had to add, you probably can't see it, I had to add some wooden 4x4s to the back because, that's right, I had the drill presses on it as well. I had the Delta and the Durabrand drill press, and the weight of the Delta was forcing this top to sag like bad, so I reinforced it with some 4x4 pieces of wood, and that's that. So for right now, these aren't mounted, and again, these are temporary. I have the 6-inch bench grinder that I've been using. This is the Grau & Edison Powerhouse 6-inch. This has been pretty good. I'm also going to use this. This came with the storage unit haul, and it's the Duracraft 3/4 horse. And this thing dims the lights, and it sounds like this thing sounds like the house is about to come down. So hopefully it won't bog down. I can bog this thing down pretty easily with the wire wheels. So I'm gonna do 2 wire wheels on this, just for balance. you know, I'm not going to have a light wear wheel and then a heavy grinding stone on one side. So I'm going to see how it runs with two 8-inch wire wheels, and we're going to go from there. I have another Duracraft 6-inch bench grinder, and it held up pretty well. It started to have some issues, and so I kind of put it on the back burner, retired it. I got about 5 other bench grinders, so I wasn't really going to monkey with it, so I just 86'd it. But speaking of that storage unit, guys, I got about $600 on Craigslist right now of things that came in that unit. I made 90 on it so far. I paid $175, so I'm only into it now for $85. And what I had originally wanted was out of the unit. I wanted the 2 metal shelves over there. I wanted the workbench here. Oh, speaking of the workbench, this has a plastic top. The exact fit and dimensions of the wooden top that could go over it, but I don't care for the look of it. But anyways, I wanted the metal shelves. I wanted this workbench. I wanted this bench grinder. I wanted the Columbian vise. There's also a Craftsman machinist vise. I wanted that. It's a little anvil that I wanted. There's a couple of Craftsman C-clamps that I wanted. There was a bunch of stuff in it that I wanted. So, you know, like I said, I think that he probably would have hit me with $100 for the stuff that I wanted. So I figured spend $75 more and get all of it. So, but right now I'm into it for $85, and the stuff that I just named is, you know, worth more than that. So when all's said and done, I'll probably make $500 or better. I got the Harley Davidson pipes, the Marshall speakers. There's a tent. There's a nylon room. There's a twin cot. There's 2 antique lamps. There's a brand new crock pot. I mean, there's too many pieces to name, but they're all on Craigslist. And so for the 3 pieces that I've sold, I sold the Kenwood amp. I sold that little router table, and then I sold a ceiling vent with vent fan with light. So I got 90 out of those 3 items and counting. So like I said, I'll do okay. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I wanted out of that lot, so I bought all of it, knowing that I'll make the money back. So we're pretty busy. Just wanted to give you a quick update. Hope you have a great day. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.